The things we believe about goal setting go a long way to affect our attitude towards goal setting. You do not rise to the level of your goals, but you fall to the level of your system, according to James Clear in the Atomic Habits book. It is better you underestimate and overachieve than to overestimate and underachieve. Hi there. Welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Alex Yeboasasu. I'm a certified life coach. And on this channel, I share goal setting tips, relationship advice, and some in-betweens, all from a Christian perspective. In this video, I'll be sharing with you 5 myths about goal setting. What is a myth? I'll simply define a myth as a wrong belief you have about something around you, something about yourself, something about the world, right? And now we all can, testify to the fact that what we believe about ourselves, about the world, and about others go a long way to affect how we interact with all of these. I'll give you an example. I'm a married man, I'm a father, and imagine I want to pursue a PhD, but then I come to believe strongly that once you become a parent and you become a husband, life gets so busy that you will not be able to combine that with pursuing a PhD. Of course, it will be difficult to do, but it is not impossible. Now, but if I believe that strongly, what is going to happen? I will not even have the desire to actually pursue or apply for the PhD program, let alone taking that step to be able to do that, right? In the same way, the things we believe about goal setting go a long way to affect our attitude towards goal setting. Being a life coach myself, I've worked with so many people, and I can tell you for a fact that I've seen 2 general kinds of people who seem to believe some form of myth about goal setting. And it all comes back to 2 things. One is that goal setting does not work. Or 2, goal setting is not for me. And guess what? None of them is actually true. And so I'm going to just go straight to the point to talk about the 5 myths that I've discovered about goal setting. Myth number 1, I must accomplish all my goals. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not the case. I'm sure you may be asking, well, if the goal of setting goals is not to accomplish all my goals, then why do I do it in the first place? That's a very good question. But guess what? You don't set goals simply because you know for sure that you will accomplish all those goals. But the point is that you want to set goals so you can get some good and clear direction about how you want to manage your time, your resources, and your relationships around you. So guess what? Don't believe the lie that once you set goals, you must definitely accomplish all those goals. That's a big lie. Once you believe it, it will affect your attitude towards goal setting. Myth number 2, I can store all my goals in my head. I don't need to write it down. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a big myth that I've seen a lot of people actually believe, and has gone a long way to affect their attitude towards goal setting and actually the outcome if they eventually do decide to set goals. There's an ancient proverb that says that a short pencil is better than a long memory. Well, let me take it again and take your time and listen one more time. A short pencil is better than a long memory. Simply put, do not trust your head. Trust the pen and the paper. Guess what? Part of the functions of our brain is to forget. And think about it. Actually, it's a good protective tool. Imagine you don't ever forget every experience you've had, including all the trauma you've gone through. I can imagine how terrible life will be for you and I, right? That's why that function is important. And so also because of that function, one of those negative effects is that we forget certain things like the things that matters to us. That's why even in scripture, we see a lot of scriptures that encourage us to remember, like Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember your creator in the days of your youth. So what I'm saying is that it is important to write down your goals. Now I'm going to share another acronym. I mean, if you know me a lot, I'm an acronyms geek, right? So write. Why you should write down your goals versus trust in your head. So W stands for worry less. When you write down your goals, you actually worry less. Why? Because you don't have to now, try and remember the most important things to you by trying to crack your brains and going through all the hassle and bustle of remembering. We all do that, right? And sometimes you feel like, man, I have to call this person. Then suddenly something else comes up, another thought comes up, and you forget the original thought, which was the most important thought at the time. You know what I mean, right? All this can be solved if you simply write down your goals. So you worry less. R stands for reliable system. Like I said, our brain will definitely forget a lot of the things. And sometimes the stakes can be very high. But when you write down your goals, writing itself is a reliable system. Remember what I said in a previous video, that you do not rise to the level of your goals, but you fall to the level of your system, according to James Clear in the Atomic Habits book. In the same way, writing down your goals is one of those great systems that you need to build so that you can be able to accomplish your goals. I stands for identifying needs. Now, when you write out your goals, you know for sure the specific goals that you're actually working on. You know whether it worked or not. You know where to tweak and where not to tweak. Does that make sense? You have something already written down, so it becomes much easier to know where you need to make changes so you can be able to position yourself in a better way to be able to achieve your goals. From my experience with helping people with goal setting, one thing I realized is that once they don't write the goals down, they struggle to even know where the needs are. They struggle to even know what to change and what not to change and stuff like that. Now, T represents track progress. Obviously, I talk about this in one of the previous videos. And when you write down your goals, you can easily track progress, which is one of the major keys to maintaining motivation throughout the year. And E stands for enhances clarity. Who doesn't want to get clarity, man? If you don't get clarity, it becomes very difficult to work on anything. And so writing down your goals will give you clarity. This is exactly what I wrote down I was going to work on. Okay, do I want to change it? Well, let's do that. Does that make sense? So it makes sense to write your goals down to trust your head. Myth number 3, I must focus on just one goal at every point in time. Well, that's a big lie. As a matter of fact, your life will not come to a pause simply because you decided to start goal setting or you started to write New Year resolutions. So for example, if you say, well, I want to have a goal this year to read a certain number of books, and because of that, your responsibilities as a father, if you're a father, or as a husband, if you're married, or as a son, or as a whatever it is, as a worker, has to come to a halt. It doesn't work that way. You need to find a way to make sure that you are balancing all of those areas at the same time. What does that mean? That simply means that it is very likely that you need to set goals for all those areas of your life at the same time and find a way to balance them so that you will be able to pursue effectiveness and excellence in all those areas of your life. And that's the whole idea of goal setting. So don't believe that lie that you need to just focus on one goal at any point in time. Myth number 4, if it's a goal, it must be overly challenging. Ladies and gentlemen, I came to disappoint you that is not true. From my experience as a life coach, one thing I've come to discover is that, now some of you may not agree with me on this one, but guess what? It's something I've discovered that really, really makes a difference when it comes to motivation throughout the year. It is better you underestimate and overachieve than to overestimate and underachieve. Well, you may be asking me, what about making the sky your limit? And so if you don't even hit the sky, you're somewhere else. Great, 100%. There's a place for that. As a matter of fact, in subsequent videos, I'll share about what I've discovered as different types of goals, right? But what I'm talking about here is the kind of goals that you are actively working on. You are making an effort to accomplish, If it's not realistic and it's not achievable, it actually affects motivation. Imagine, let's say, you set up a goal, you are a student, you are a worker, you're married, you have all these things going on, okay? And then you set a goal to also, say, maybe go to the gym and do some workout, right? And then you say, well, because I want to overly challenge myself, and because that's what a goal must do to me, right? So I'm going to go to the gym and spend 2 hours every single day, Monday to Sunday. Not taking into consideration that this might affect other areas of your life. Now imagine you're tracking your goals after a month and you realize that, man, instead of doing 31 days, I only did like maybe 10 days. Well, that can be very discouraging. It can prevent you from actually continuing to pursue that goal. But imagine you say, well, to be realistic, I think the minimum I can do is probably go to the gym twice a week, considering all my other responsibilities. And you plan that way. And you are reviewing your goals and you realize that, oh man, I said I was going to do 2, but I've done 3 out of in the week. That's encouraging. And that will actually motivate you to probably even do much more than you did in the past. So listen, it has to be challenging. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely. But it doesn't have to be overly challenging. You don't have to, stretch yourself too much. Why? Also because this is your personal goals. You're not competing with anyone, okay? So you want to make sure that you are giving yourself realistic goals such that you will be able to accomplish them. Myth number 5, I am an introvert and therefore goals are not for me. Well, that is a lie. Goal setting is not a personality issue. It's a clarity issue. It's a focus issue. It's a direction issue. And whether you're an introvert, whether you're an extrovert, we all need clarity, we all need focus, and we all need direction to be effective in our lives. So listen, don't let your personality limit you. Obviously, the way your personality is will determine the kind of goals you set and maybe the approach you use to accomplish the goals and all of the things, but it shouldn't affect the goals that you are setting itself, okay? So don't believe the lie that the way you are made, which you can't do anything about, has a direct correlation with goal setting. And more specifically, because you're an introvert, you cannot set goals. I know many extroverts who can talk all they can and put in all the energy they want, but they are not able to still stay focused, right? And so your personality should not limit you from setting goals. Know that goal setting is for you. Goal setting can work for you as long as you have the right systems. And that's my encouragement to you. Take that next step and set some goals today. I know that there are many more myths that I could have actually addressed, but I hope that these 5 are helpful enough to challenge you, just in case you've believed this before, you still actually do believe it, to be able to put them behind you and take that bold step to begin to embrace the idea of goal setting and use this wonderful approach to be able to help you live a much more effective life and take advantage of the opportunities you have, the time that you have at your disposal to make your life more meaningful. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like this video, please like it, leave a comment in the comment section. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, put them in there. If you have any questions you want me to actually respond to where goal setting is concerned, put it right there. There are many more videos I have in store for you. And I hope that you do have a wonderful rest of your time. And I'll see you in the next one. What a joy.